All right, what's up, guys? Coming at you today with Julie Otsuka's Diem Perdidi. Diem Perdidi. Something about lost. I don't remember what Diem Perdidi. I remember looking this up briefly before choosing this story, but I'm gonna go through the pre-reading real quick right now with you guys. Um, the plan for the next hour or so is to do this reading, all right, of this short fiction and see if I can engage with it emotionally and intellectually in a way that's like helpful for you guys as you try to take on some fiction that's tough for you. If this kind of content, if this kind of YouTube video is like really useful for you, I'd really like to know. So if you could leave a comment, hit like, or subscribe to the channel. That would help me out. Just let me know what's working and what's not. Anything you feel happy to just share with me, I'd be happy to hear. So let's try to make this. I'm trying to make this as valuable of a video as possible, despite the very unusual format that this is. But but I do have a strong belief that something here is going to be useful to somebody out there, and that might be you. So if you're watching, let me know your support by doing any of those things. Now, I'm looking at this story, and before I go right into the story itself, I'm going to do a little bit of pre reading because pre reading will help me kind of situate my expectations. Trying to do something a little bit different from previous times. I'm going to be a little more concise. I'm going to just focus, I'm going to explain a little less what I'm thinking as I'm doing it and focus more on just having the experience itself. So we'll see how that goes. If you prefer the way I used to do it, let me know. If you prefer it this way, let me know. It helps me. Any feedback you guys are generous enough to share with me helps me figure out what to do. All right, let's get started on Diem Perdidi pre-reading right now. So pre-reading just means, establishing sort of my expectations for the story. So let me open up a Safari window right now. Okay, on my computer. But you know what? Before that, we do have this little introductory excerpt in this book that I'm reading. So let me just get into it. Otsuka studied art at Yale, was a painter. Her first novel was about internment, and she won a bunch of things. She lives in New York City. Right. In my experience, this particular book doesn't really give a lot in the way, doesn't really offer a lot in the way of like expectation setting. So for setting expectations, I would recommend just doing Goodreads. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's go into Goodreads. And I'm looking at my Safari real quick. So, Diem Perdidi, Otsuka Julie, Goodreads. And I did read this. I did skim this a little bit ago because I was trying to figure out whether I should use it on my students or not, this story. And I remember it's about illness, but I actually don't really remember too much more than that. Here we go, right there. The answer pops out. The mother has Alzheimer's, ravaged by dementia, and we're sharing the mother's memories. We're sharing the mother's memories. The second person perspective does get a little old after a while. So this is a challenge that some people have. And oh, whoa, there's not a lot of reviews. Okay, so that doesn't give me a lot to work with. Let me see. Is there information about Julie Otsuka here? Whoa, I thought I'm normally logged in, but okay, let's skip this. Almost the same information that's literally in this book. Her grandfather was arrested by the FBI. Translated into 6. Okay, so it's just talking about her success, which is less interesting. I'm trying to focus more on, what are the things that people enjoy about this story, and what are the things that people find challenging about the story. Having a initial sort of understanding of that enables me to at least save a little bit of time. So, by the way, if you want to skip the pre-reading, you can go ahead in this video and go straight to the reading itself. There's another page for Diem Perdidi with a different number of votes, but it's the same. Oh no, it's not exact. No, it's basic. No, it's the same thing. Okay, so because this is a relatively recent story. It's not really a classic. It was written 9 years ago, or it was published 9 years ago. So there's not a lot to work with here. So what I'll do. What I know is that there's a second person perspective that's a little tough to work with, and I know that with her MFA background, she might be a little experimental. Those are some things I'm thinking about. And then the mother going through dementia, maybe having a little bit of base understanding of how Alzheimer's works might help me. But for the pre-reading, I think this is about good enough. Maybe I'll go into Granta, where this was originally published. It was published in Granta. Maybe see what they say about her. Okay, we could go into the interview. We could. I don't think I would normally. And because I wouldn't normally, I'm just going to skip it. Let's get to the reading now. Here's what I'm expecting so far. I am thinking primarily about, let's see, Alzheimer's, daughter, mother, loss, suffering, and this sort of unique second perspective something, okay, whatever that happens to be, creating some sort of effect. Hopefully not purely cerebral, hopefully not purely just in my head, but also in my heart as I'm emotionally trying to engage with this loss. But not all writing wants to be emotional, so we have to sort of navigate, what is the way this text wants to be read? How do you appreciate this kind of thing? Given that it seems to be a little bit experimental. So I don't know what it's going to be like. I couldn't get a lot of clues from just reading on Goodreads. So all the clues, with the bare minimum that I'm working with, I'm going to have to pick up the clues as I'm reading. All right, so let's get started. Now, if you are watching this not live, if you are watching this in pre-recorded format and you're just kind of skipping around, I do recommend watching this at 1.5 or 2.0 or even 2.5x speed, so that you can kind of read on your own until you get stuck on a part that you don't feel like you're fully absorbing like the value of the reading. You're just like reading aimlessly. Whenever you feel like you're lost, whenever you feel like you're just struggling, like you don't really know what the hell is going on, you don't really feel any connection to the story, stop there and then listen to me read it and react to it. And maybe by comparing your reactions and my reactions, I'm not saying you're going to get the right answer per se. I don't know the right answer. This is my first time reading the story too. But by comparing, you might be able to find a foothold for you to sort of like latch onto, so that you can kind of progress with the story. Not necessarily always my ideas. Maybe just by hearing my thoughts, you'll get some other idea. You'll notice some other detail that I totally missed, and that will help you navigate the story going forward. But I think it seems to me to be the most effective to use this kind of video, watching a little bit, reading a little bit on your own ahead of me, front running me. Get stuck, then watch my response, and then proceed, right? You might not even want to watch the entire video. You might only want to watch the parts where you got stuck. See what works for you. I'm actually really curious what does work for you guys. Let me know. Let me know in the comments as you're using this video. All right. Now I'm gonna get started. Those are my tips. I can't think of any other tips, so I'm gonna get started right now. Let's get into a text. Let's get engaged. Okay, she remembers her name, which is good. Alzheimer's. We're starting right there. I'm getting right into the scene right now. She remembers her name, Alzheimer's. We're talking about grandma, or we're talking about mom. She remembers the name of the president. Dog. Funny little random detail. Okay, I'm already having an anticipation. We're gonna at some point we're gonna twist. We're gonna turn into what she doesn't remember. Okay, she remembers. 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 We're gonna stack, 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 stack. We're gonna build a big, big stack of this, like a mountain of all the memories, and then maybe we'll turn into the things that she doesn't remember. That's what I'm thinking. I might be wrong. I don't have enough evidence to really know, but that would be a very natural way to progress. Ooh, okay, that came way faster than I expected. I thought we were just gonna build, 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 and then have a big turn, but we're not working like that. So this is a little more surprising than that. Um, she remembers a daughter who was born before you, but she does not remember your older sister's name. The man she did not marry. Oh, this is the surprise. Now, this is the surprise here is the patchwork, and I have never directly experienced someone going into dementia with Alzheimer's, so this is fresh for me. This is totally new to me. But yeah, it gets like it becomes patchwork. That man. Okay, we're suggesting at like a conflict that used to be there between the mom and the you the not the I guess not the narrator the daughter. I guess we'll call her the daughter slash the you. Maybe your father will kiss me now. It's a cute bit of sentimentality. I can imagine it, with even my mom. So this is a different kind of memory, remembering to do things, which is different from remembering what happened. Remembering to do things, which is not knowledge or memory. It's like reminding, slightly different. I'm not sure if we're gonna have other types of remembering. Hmm. So what I'm noticing right now and just feeling I'm feeling something, but I'm not sure what it is, but she remembers that your father loves peaches. It's it's crazy because that makes it four characters right now in just that one sentence. She, okay, you, and then her husband or your father, but then also the narrator. And what is the narrator? The narrator is like the second person, okay, this self talking to the self, and it creates this weird sense of dissociation where we're not saying she remembers her husband loving the peaches or whatever. She remembers your father loving the peaches, which brings in this self into the picture that has a unique effect. It has a strange effect on me. I'm not sure what that is. Part of it, I think, might be because in Korean we speak like your father, that word is common to use for a mom to use on her, son or daughter. I forget if that's common to use in non East Asian cultures. Um, but I'm just getting this weird like cultural high density experience right now, because that's she remembers that your father loves peaches. That's four characters in that one sentence right there. Um, trying to I'm trying to parse it, but I don't get it, and I don't even know where this is going. Yeah, I don't know where it's going, but I'm just feeling it right now. I just zoned out for a second because I'm trying to figure out he. Okay, father. Two four. That is cute. The college at 4, and she waits. She used to be in the same bedroom, but what she no longer is. That's a little sad. That is a little sad. I feel a little sad. The Pledge of Allegiance and the Social Security number. That is. And just one line of the song. The number. 6 years dead. Margaret is dead. Betty is dead. Grace has stopped calling. She might be dead. Her own mother died. It doesn't go away. What doesn't go away? Government right at the internment camp. Zooming right into society. The desert. September 9th. Was Pearl Harbor 1942? Was it 44? I'm going to. This is honestly not like all crazy important, but I just want to know. So I'm going to look it up. I don't think this is particularly important for this story. 41. Was that right? I don't even remember if I was. Did I guess correctly? Anyway, yeah. So we have that going on right now. My shortcut isn't working. All right, there we go. I just zoned out for a second, and I wonder why. It's just because I was looking at Pearl Harbor, and I failed to put myself back into the setting. The setting being back in the day in 1945. Sagebrush. This is Nevada. The desert. The desert. You are always surprised at her strength. The FBI will check up on you again soon. Interesting, right there. I was expecting private grief. I wasn't expecting social trauma being manifested through the sort of detritus, sort of like that lingering trash of trauma of having that experience at the internment camp. And then the FBI will call on you when you are, maybe she's like 80 by now or something like that. And she's just speaking from that kind of unhinged flow of consciousness. And part of it is, hey, daughter, the FBI will check up on you again soon. And I don't know about you guys, but this sort of service orientation of the mom, iron your blouse for you. The fact that it lasts all the way till the end, right? In this Japanese mother, in my own mother, in my own mother, it's just there's a bit of emotional resonance there for me. Hmm. Her own pies. She does not remember those pies. She cannot even iron the blouse. She doesn't. Something's changed. It's crazy that something's changed. That something's changed is a little crazy because we're in her mind. It's weird because it's strange because I guess I'm not ready for the something's changed, which comes out in italics, because the narrator is not the mom. The narrator is this sort of self, as far as I can tell, the self that is talking to the you that is the daughter. But then something's changed. That sounds like it's actually in the mom's head. It's like her realization that something's messed up and she can no longer remember how to iron the blouse. So I'm dealing with this unstable narrator. Like, where is this narrator? Who is this narrator? Is this narrator some sort of universally like omniscient sort of narrator? Doesn't know everything that's happening, or is it subjective? Is it with the daughter? Mother was born before you lived for half an hour. Oh, the daughter was born before you. Okay. There was not an older sister. I mean, there was, but only for half an hour. She looked perfect from the outside. Again, the mother's subjectivity is coming out. The mother's thoughts are coming out. It's surprising. I'm surprised to have the mother's subjectivity. So it's not just the self talking to the you who is the daughter. We have this self and this mother's memories coming out together. Oops. Multi-generational connection over here. Her mother. Maybe it was the best. Maybe the italicized bits is my memory as the daughter, my memory of what she used to say. So then we're blending these memories together. Hmm. Frank, 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 Frank. Hmm. Being asked to leave, so there must have been some sort of issue. She remembers touching her toes. Now that I think about it, this narrator is not close to the subjectivity of the daughter. This narrator is close to the subjectivity of the mother. This narrator is someone who has some authority on what the mother remembers and doesn't remember. Hmm. But it's talking to the daughter. It's like the in between. It's like the in between of the mother and the daughter. Mechanical skills are going away. I'm stuck. This conflicted love, that's an interesting moment. It's an interesting moment. Like, it feels real to me. I've never experienced that in my life, of someone telling me he loves me more than I love him, and then I can hardly wait. But that contradiction feels real to me. Maybe a little bit of self denial. Maybe she wants to believe the first sentence, but truly, truly loves him. I don't know, but it feels real to me that those two sentences. He still does. Yeah, these italicized bits, man, they kind of hit me. They kind of hit me. A white woman who looked like the gardener. That little casual racism. Every morning, offering the ancestors a bowl of hot rice, pickled cabbage. The father took a bigger hit. Don't give up on me. Whoa. Whoa. The daughter has doesn't have children. So this mother went through some tragedy in life. Her parents, this mother's parents, or the grandparents of the you, the, they fought. They were interned. She didn't get to see her father for years. She fell in love with this man, Frank. She lost her first daughter. And she has this trouble with her second daughter. Don't remember what the trouble is. I don't remember what it was hinted at. Was it related to marriage? I don't remember. But it was hinted at, I think, in the very first paragraph. I'm going to keep going, though. Same girl twice. I think he'll do. She wants the daughter to marry. 32 hours. So I told him yes. She regrets it. She regrets it. Dude. So, pausing real quick, some people on the Goodreads at least, they got tired of the second person. But for me, I feel the momentum is just keeps building for me. I don't know. I don't know what I'm noticing that's making it different, but I just honestly, for me, it just feels like it's getting more and more powerful over time. Actually, uh, Oof, stuck in a jar. Cat named Gasoline. What does Shiro mean? Does it mean something boyish? Okay. Well, it's a man's name. That must be pretty traumatizing. For the 18-month-year-old baby to not recognize the mother. That's a little crazy. That's a crazy experience. I've never heard of that in my life. That's a pretty crazy experience. Little quirks of the child. Okay, I zoned out for a second, but I had to find my framing. The frame right now is, the quirks of the child when she was young, when the daughter was young. Newberries. Favorite part. Frank had been her sister. Everything she remembers is not necessarily true. He turned and watched over. She remembers the first time he asked her to marry him. She told him she wasn't ready. She could not remember her own name. She remembers not knowing that it wouldn't be like this with any of the others. She remembers thinking she had all the time in the world. She remembers thinking, oh, she had all the time in the world. That Frank was just someone she could push away. Now I'm confused because maybe the father and Frank are two different people. I would if I were sort of nervous about it, I might go back up and double check. But you know what? I think I'll figure it out as we go. But the Frank and the father might be two different people. I might have just missed that distinction earlier on. She remembers how to play the piano and chopsticks. Yeah. That's good. It works while you sleep. I was walking through a forest. I was swimming in a river. I was looking for Frank in a city I did not know, and no one would tell me where he was. wonder if Frank is Japanese. Now I'm like, now I kind of want to double check. Who is Frank? Let's go to the father. Okay, let's go to the father. Okay, so that man. So yeah, the daughter was remarried. Maybe your father will kiss me now. Father loves peaches. Hmm. When does Frank first come out? She remembers picking apples in a field with Frank many years ago in the rain. See, this is the first time Frank comes out. Frank and the father might be different people. I think this is the time Frank comes out. So this is page 675. So let me just go down to 675. So many Franks in literature, huh? Aha, 673 is the first time Frank comes out. Oh, I missed that. I missed that. I missed that. The name of the man she did not marry, and she keeps his letters in a drawer by her bed. I totally missed it. Yeah. Which puts a little bit more poignancy because I wonder if the first daughter, the one that she lost, was Frank's daughter actually. You know, if she might have had a child out of wedlock. A key. All right, here. Let's go find it. Okay. So she's still affectionate with her current husband, but she remembers the love of Frank. The father is Japanese for sure. Frank could be a non-Japanese name. Hmm. Sex in the internment camp. Such an such a unique detail. Oh, poverty. I had to let you make your own mistakes. My first piece of jewelry. I was starting to get tired. I was starting to get tired, and I was noticing that I was starting to get tired, so I thought about it for a second. And then I just realized having your fifth grade teacher asking you to stand up in front of the class so that everyone could say goodbye while you go to an internment camp, that's like a crazy memory. It's a crazy memory. And Elaine Crowley never wrote. And she lost the pendant from her friend. Dude, heartbreak as a child. Frank could have died in the Air Force. He had fallen in love with someone else. The next day, she went and married him. That experience of pushing off a man who proposes to you twice and then finally losing him. And part of that lesson is from your mom. Your mom says, don't fall in love. And we're talking about an adult woman, like an adult woman who is reminiscing on her mother, right? So that's a crunchy experience, you know. I'm just thinking about what I would think about my mom when I'm like 50, you know, and my mom is like 80. All right, moving on. Moving on. No, before I move on, just that's just it's just that feeling, right? You know, you look at your mom and you don't really think about the love lost, you know, their passions. You don't really, that's not something you think about so much. But through this sort of fragmentary, like sort of the disintegration of the ego, through this Alzheimer's, you actually get to see into the past of your mom, you know, and that's a crazy experience. At least I don't know about you guys, but you know, with East Asian parents, you know, um, I've been able to get my parents to be a lot more talkative in the last 5 years. But I'm in my 30s now. Uh, and I think older, most parents die never sharing all of this information. You know, uh, it's a unique experience. It's a unique experience to know the sort of depth of like the loss and the disappointment and everything of your own mom. It's a very human experience. Broken stem bros. 3 times. Her father left them, and they never spoke of him again. She does not remember his name. High honors in Latin. I have lost the day. Diem Perdidi. I'm sorry. Ice toilet. Wait. Never run to a funeral. We get a little bit of Japanese cultural texture here. Um, I wonder why it took so long, actually. But anyway. Whoa, what the? I just zoned out again. All right. Sherman's going to learn to come with her. For the rich white ladies, okay. Okay, that's the setting. Usually, what happens when I zone out is just like I miss the setting that we're supposed to be in. Okay. His hand. He gave her money. Never refused. Huh. I don't know what that means. Okay. Uncomfortable. She remembers that they never missed it. Same napkin for 3 days in a row. She's polite. So you like her, she asks him. Firstborn. How to serve cake. Offers cake and offers coffee, but does not remember how to make or serve them. So that's a whole scene. It might be interesting. I think every paragraph might be corresponding to a particular scene, you know, like every paragraph could be the next day or like a day later or 2 days later when the daughter visits again, and it's just the memories that she's having at that time. Um, like and I think this was definitely tough for me when I was a younger reader, like a sort of novice reader of fiction. It's that you're not just trying to read the sentences and understand the sentences, but like you're also trying to infer any scenes that might be there. Uh, so the paragraph is she remembers, but does not remember this and that, right? That's all it is. But then, how does the narrator even get to say that? The narrator gets to say that because the narrator, who is this weird go between right now, between the daughter and the mother, the narrator is kind of narrating a scene between the daughter and the mother. You know? The narrator is inside the sort of subjectivity of the mother, but anything that the narrator says could be directly observed from the daughter, right? The narrator just says she remembers, she doesn't remember. You can see that as the daughter. So it's like right there in the middle. It's like this sort of camera that's sort of hovering above the conversations of the mother and the daughter. And instead of telling you what they said and what they're doing and how they're twitching or how they're fidgeting or whatever, instead of saying any of that, it's only saying what she remembers and what she doesn't remember, the mother. And as a younger reader, I would struggle to imagine these scenes. But for me, I can stay connected because I'm imagining every single one of these things as a scene. What's happening here. What's happening here? I can visualize it almost like a movie. Whoa. Extreme. He said he'd made a mistake. It's too late. I threw a chair. Ask your father, he'll know. She does not remember the name of the president. She does not remember the name of the president's dog. She does not remember the season. This could be the end of the story or very close to the end of the story. This is bookmarked by the very beginning of the story. She didn't cry. Oof, that's such a dramatic scene, man. Watch her go to sleep for the first and last time in her life. Never buried her. Never gave her a name. Perfect fingernails. Unusual heart. She was his. Two days later, oof, she remembers her father catching her. A desert sky at sunset. It was the most beautiful shade of orange. This is the internment camp. She remembers scorpions and red ants. I wouldn't be surprised. That is the end. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the end. Was what I was about to say. She remembers the taste of dust. She remembers once loving someone more than anyone else. Doesn't remember who now. She remembers giving birth to the same girl twice. She remembers that today is Sunday, and it is time for her to go for her ride. And so she picks up her purse and puts on her lipstick and goes out to wait for your father in the car. God damn. That is a beautiful portrait and a beautiful sort of tribute to a dying mom. Because I think part of this is you just have to think, at least for me, I'm just thinking of the conversations and the time that you need to make for those conversations. The conversations you need to have with your mom to be able to write something like this. Right? And this could be fiction. Some of this could be made up. But to get those details, you still had to sit down and talk to your mom multiple times, over and over, to just get this out. And to make this dying woman's life full again. That is so beautiful. God damn. Like, I miss this mom. she, I miss this mom. This mom who suffered, who lost her husband, who lost her man, who was out in the desert, who was part of society. who survived. You know, I don't think there's much more for me to say about this story other than that 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 second person perspective. You know, it's not omniscient. It's definitely limited. Okay, it's definitely that narrator only tells you like a summary kind of things that you could see if you were watching the mom and the daughter having conversations over the span of a whole year, and they just meet and then they talk and then they drive and then they talk and then they eat and then they talk, and that's all that the narrator knows. The narrator knows nothing more than that. And all those italicized bits, I think most of them might have actually been verbalized from the mom to the daughter, you know. Some of them might have been just in the mind of the mom, but most of them I think were verbalized from the, if not all, were verbalized from the mom to the daughter. So I just get this feeling of some distance, but I feel close. I feel close. Just this remembering. And I lost the day. Diem Perdidi, right? I lost this day. But what does that? Actually, now I'm puzzling on that. What is that? What is Diem Perdidi? This Japanese woman who got high marks in Latin and she lost the day. She lost Frank and she's losing her memory. And yet she's putting on her lipstick and she's going out for another day. And maybe she's gonna lose that day too. There's a bit of poignancy for me in that title, to lose the day. And I think it's poignant because it's contrasted against the last sentence. She remembers that today is Sunday. I think there were a couple times where she doesn't remember today is Sunday. So she fails a couple times, but then she does remember today is Sunday a couple times towards the end. And it comes out to, she remembers that today is Sunday and it is time to go for her ride. And she goes out. She picks up her purse and puts on her lipstick and goes out to wait for your father in the car. I am moved. That was good. I enjoyed that. If you guys enjoyed that, go ahead, buy some Julie Otsuka books. Go enrich yourselves, make your lives more full. If this reading, if this reaction helped you, please hit the like button, leave a comment, hit subscribe, and hit that bell for future notifications. Here I am, just sort of basking in this sort of emotional wreckage. So I'm just gonna stay quiet here and just chill out for a bit and just remember the people in my life who are aging and have their own full lives. Yo, that was touching. I was moved. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.